Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and this is just a little introduction to my trip to Japan for the Tokyo Fan Festival. It's like 5:30 in the morning right now. It's my first night sleeping back in my apartment since getting back, and still getting adjusted. But just wanted to do a little preface here. It was an incredible trip, and I hope you guys enjoy all the videos, pictures, and things I have to say. So let's get started. All right, so Mr. Happy here, and I'm at the start of my trip to Japan for the fan festival in Tokyo. I don't think I've ever been this nervous in front of a camera. Maybe because I'm in the middle of an airport and the only way I could think to record this not awkwardly, and it still is near a column near my gate. And not used to looking at the camera. I'm like this. I'm looking, am I okay? Except you're right there. Yeah, I'm really nervous for this trip overall. I want to do a good job, make sure I get there safe, of course, but we got a ways to go before we even have to worry about that. Oh, that's not for me. I need to take a 5-hour flight to Honolulu, and then an hour layover, and then a 10-hour flight to Japan. And I only have 2 movies downloaded, so I hope I can make it there in one piece, but I'm hoping to bring back some good stuff. Gonna include this in the vlog. Don't know if I'll do a day 1 or day 2 or whatever it is, but I'll probably record Honolulu. Maybe I'll have one of those the flower things around my neck, and then when we land in Japan, if I don't post this just for day 1, then I'll probably post this all when I get back from the trip. So yeah, wish me luck, and hopefully it's a good one. Alright, so we're on leg 2 of our trip. San Francisco to Honolulu, then Honolulu to Tokyo. So you can see the bright blue sky of Honolulu behind me. Not much more of it. No flowers around the neck or anything like that. Only going to be here for another 30 minutes or so. And then we are on a long flight to Tokyo. Super excited, still super nervous. That hasn't changed since the first part of the vlog. And just really excited to get there, and I hope I get some sleep on the plane. So look on my social, hopefully you've been following my social medias. I'd say look on it, but this isn't going to go on YouTube till after they're already posted for all sorts of pictures and stuff like that. So bringing you videos as well. Regardless, just you can tell I'm excited. Let's just end it here. Hey everyone, so you might be wondering why we just jumped from the Honolulu recording all the way to what appears to be my hotel room in Japan, and that's because we did. I didn't really sleep that much on the flight from Honolulu to Tokyo, and as such, I passed out in the cab ride on the way here, and I passed out as soon as I got to the hotel. So while this is technically the beginning of a day 2 recording, we'll technically consider it a mix of day 1 and day 2 and whatnot. And so this is also my 3rd time attempting to record this, because both previous times I thought I had my alerts turned off for my Twitch alerts, my follow alerts, my subscriber alerts. And so I've got hey, how you doing? You doing I? I'm doing I. And I've got a very loud Hildebrand theme playing. So I'll mesh those into the video itself. And it's given me a 3rd time, I guess, to shorten this part, because now I'm running out of time to record it, because I actually have to go down to the show floor soon. Specialty, I'm hoping I kind of relax a little bit, just kind of make sure I'm getting... Oh my goodness. Why is that playing? I should put that in the vlog. That was scary. I'm going to put that in the vlog. That's going to be an outtake for the vlog. Oh, it's happened again. Why is it happening? I don't know why it's happening. I turned it off. So far in Japan, there hasn't really been too much to say because I haven't really gone anywhere. But one thing I've done a lot of is kind of interact with the people. And everything's been great. All the people have been very courteous. I've made sure to throw a little bit of Japanese. Obviously, I don't speak the language, but just some basic things like konnichiwa, arigato, gomenasai. I bumped into somebody, so I had to very quickly remember how to say that. It's been where everyone's been very polite
to me thus far. I've made sure to keep my hands like at waist level, never do anything with them, because you guys know me. I'm like, oh yeah. No, not doing that here. Just basically stiff as a board, waiting for people to instruct me to do things. Like, sir, can I please have this? Yes. There you go. When I went to a Lawson's this morning, I didn't know you don't exchange money by hand, which makes sense. I don't know custom wise if it's a hygienic thing or if it is or if it's just a custom. I'd imagine it's a hygienic thing, not to touch hands or something. But regardless, I just held the money, and when they asked me to put it in the thing, I put it in the thing, and then that was the end of it. I went to a little buffet this morning because I didn't eat last night. There's a buffet in the hotel. I got some scrambled eggs, and I love scrambled eggs in other countries because America makes them very dry. They tend to overcook scrambled eggs very often, and so I usually have to garnish them with something else or put them in another recipe. But if you've watched any like cooking shows or stuff for other countries, I always see how it's a lot more runny, it's a little bit more undercooked. But it's not really undercooked, it's just cooked. It's not overcooked. And those were great. They had a number of different things. Some morning sushi, had some shrimp sushi, which was pretty good. I gotta say, it's pretty good for buffet sushi. Better than average, I definitely say, considering what I'm used to back home. On top of that, they just had a ton of other little things there. You could take tiny little bowls of like macaroni salad or certain pickled vegetables and stuff like that, and it was very welcome. My favorite thing about going to that buffet though was there was a server who he was bussing somebody else had just left, and they were right next to me, and he was bussing for them, and he said he just very casually said, hello, good evening, good morning, sir. See, my nerves are all over the place, my brain doesn't know what time to say. Good morning, sir. How are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm doing great. How are you doing? He's like, I'm doing good. Where are you visiting from? And I told him, and he said, oh, I love California. I love wine. And I was like, I'm a beer guy, but you know what? We can both get exactly what we want in California because it's both really good. He's like, yes, absolutely, very good. Thank you, sir, and have a good morning. And then when I was getting up to leave, he ran over, he waved to me, he said, thank you so much for coming. He walked me out the door. I told him I appreciated him talking to me because one of the big things is I've been very hesitant to interact with people because of potential language barrier, making a mistake with hand gestures, as I said before. And so I told that man, I was like, I very much appreciate you taking the time to speak to me, to walk with me, because it's my first time in the country and I'm very nervous, and this was very welcome and very relaxing. And he heard that, he was very grateful to hear that. So as he was walking me out, that's I appreciate your kind words very much. And so it was a really good experience this morning. It has me feeling really good before I go down to the convention because I'm still nervous. I'm just mega nervous. I don't want to screw anything up. I don't want to offend anyone. I'm in a place that I'm not familiar with at all. And it's a good experience because, I'm used to kind of being in my own bubble a lot. And, you think you know everything when you're in that bubble. You maybe read something or you hear something from someone, but until you're experiencing it, you're living it, it just isn't comparable. Being here isn't comparable to hearing from people who have been here. It is just so vastly different. And I'm grateful for what my experiences have been so far. I still forgot a few things. I forgot to bring a 3-prong to 2-prong charger. I had to go down to Lawson's to get that. By the way, Lawson's is awesome. I saw all the things that Lawson's was selling, what their convenience store goods are versus ours. And I recognize a lot of them from like Japanese food markets like Marukai back in the States. Obviously not the same exact things, but the snacks that are available. And I'm like, dude, when I get those at Marukai back home, I'm always freaking out because they're so good. And here it's just like, I can get as many as I want. I would live in a Lawson's. Now I understand why Silken likes Lawson's so much because I saw all those things. I was like, I could live here. But there's not really much else to share. If any pictures I've taken so far, I'll probably have put them up on the screen at some point while I was talking about various things. Hopefully, I have the opportunity to say hi to a lot of people, and the internet here is really good, so I won't have any issues uploading anything for you guys after the opening keynote, after the producer live letter. And I'm hoping to produce a ton of videos out of this. I hope you guys enjoy them because this is insane for me so far. So expect a very long vlog. Expect a expect a lot of talking, a very long video. We'll see if we have to break it down into multiple videos when I get back. But either way, thanks everyone. This is beginning of day 2, and I'll have more to share with you at the end of day 2, as well as pictures, videos, all that good stuff. So see you guys when I cut to the next video. Okay, my editing's not good. Whatever, just the next part will play.
All right, so we got a little bit lost looking for the entrance. I followed a huge crowd of people that did not lead to the correct place, and now I am trying to find my way in. And I found it, so end of video.
Alright, this is the end of day 2 for the vlog. I'm once again recording it on the beginning of day 3, technically, because, well, I was just busy last night. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. I didn't really go to see much, but went and enjoyed a nice meal. Of course, worked on one of our FanFest videos, and also did actually an hour of live streaming, just talking to people about all the various announcements and stuff. So the second day in Japan was a lot more lively than the first, because I was awake for it. Obviously, I didn't really have time to go see anything. I mean, that's going to be the majority of my trip here. Monday, I'll get to see a few things, but the days 1 and 2, not so much. So for day 2, which was actually the first day of FanFest, we got to experience the opening keynote. I got to go around. I got to shake hands and take pictures with some of the people who enjoy my content over here in Japan, and that was very welcoming. You know, I got to kind of understand what my status is over here a little bit, because I had just always assumed that I don't matter here. That's kind of my interpretation, I guess, from over in the United States. And, you know, from the many people that I've spoken to over the last couple days, people are saying the same things that I would hear over in the West. I like your videos. I like your guides. I like hearing you talk about stuff. And I guess I had a hard time accepting it. I often had somebody nearby that could translate, not someone at some points on official capacity, and at other points just other people who were attending who could you know, help me communicate. Which, by the way, a super big thank you to anyone who helped me converse with somebody else while we were here, whether it was a Square Enix employee, because a few of them helped me out, or just other people at the event, you know, trying to enjoy the event, taking the time to stop and do that is it meant a lot, because one of the toughest things here is obviously communicating. I only know enough basic words to say, you know, hello, yes, I can take a picture, thank you, and then to present them with the Twitch Kappa cards that I brought with me. And so whenever somebody else comes up, the amount of conversation I was able to have was very refreshing, and I was very, very comfortable. And man, it's just I'm basically hearing the same kinds of things that I would hear if I was conversing with someone back home, or, you know, back in America, or any other conventions I've been to. And I don't know, I always I always have a hard time accepting when people like my content. I don't know if that's years of, I guess, letting the negative voices through more than the positive voices whenever I'm like reading through comment sections, but I try to hold the concept that I'm just another player. I create my content as if I was just another player, because I don't like to hold myself to a status. But other people hold me to a status, and I'm not going to tell them not to, but I guess accepting it, especially here where there's, between us, there's obviously, a cultural and language barrier. So it's been a lot harder to accept, but it's also been very humbling to hear it from people, as it would be at any of the fan fests or any of the events I've been to. So that's been good. A lot of funny conversations too. I got to speak to Haru and several other members of the Japanese rating community, and they all cracked me up. They just asked me a bunch of questions, the same kind of questions you guys would ask, and then we just talk a little bit about the announcements or stuff like that. And that was just kind of the general gist of every conversation I had, and it was good. And I would love to come back and actually know Japanese and be able to converse myself, because I feel like there'd be a much bigger conversation to be had, I feel. As for the convention itself, I'm not going to speak about the announcements in this video because I have separate content for that, obviously, most of which has probably been released by the time you guys are seeing this. But the event itself, I was a little lost and confused. I remember I left the hotel and I was following instructions on how to get to the place, and then I went the completely wrong direction because I guess the Google map said to go a certain way that wasn't actually like possible. And then I had to have someone come find me, as you guys saw from the earlier part of the video, and they directed me to the correct location. And then once we're in the event and we were done, watching the opening keynote, I looked around and there was just gates everywhere, trying to direct people, to go to this location or that location. And it took me a while to remember how I got in, because it's a lot of people. It is a lot of people. And everyone who's not me was kind of used to moving around with that number of people, and I wasn't. So I was also getting places slower in general. But, it didn't stop me from going around the whole show floor. They had a sponsorship area. They have a ton of sponsors for the Japanese Fan Fest. There were stage events going on in Naoki's room, the cosplay contest. I didn't stay for the piano concert. I came back to record and then go eat because I hadn't really had anything all day. And which is funny because there is actually a pop-up Eorzea cafe, but the line was huge. So the line was big for anything. And it kind of makes me think, so how like with North America and Europe, we're kind of, I guess on our sides, we're like, oh, can we get bigger menus so we can invite more people? And obviously, I want as many people to be able to attend any of the fan fests as much as they want to go. I want them to be able to go. But when I saw what having that many people means, man, that's scary. Although the lines were really efficient here, like they were way longer than the lines we had at the previous fan fest, but they were very, very efficient because more space also means more, I guess, like more stations for the challenges or, more staff to handle it. But man, I feel really rough. I feel like it's going to be really rough for North America because the way that we're very aggressive over in the West, and here everyone was it's just so polite. They're excited and polite at the same time. And I feel like it helps everything go much smoother. So that was what the crowd's reaction to. A lot of people asked me about the crowd's reaction and stuff, and they were all like, yeah, like they cheered and they clapped and they did the normal stuff. There wasn't really a negative reaction from the crowd at any point to anything that was said, even though a lot of people have been kind of back and forth of how they actually like feel about the events. I almost forgot to turn my alerts off. I'm actually scared now. I'm scared they're going to play, so I'm just going to mute them. I'm just going to mute them just in case, so that way they don't come through the speaker. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, I understand things a lot more from like when someone who isn't from America comes to America and they're overwhelmed by the differences in culture, the culture shock. And I got a bit of that here, and it makes me want to come back because I want to understand it more. I want to be in it more, and I hope I get the opportunity to do that at some point. Whether it's me just coming out here with Mel for a vacation, or just I don't know, coming for some other event of some kind. Anything I would take, because I feel like 3 days is just not enough time for me to be able to give you guys enough information outside of just things I would say about a fan fest. The signature wall was colorful and pretty with a lot of awesome drawings on it. They had a collaboration station which had a Chocobo Mystery Dungeon. If you haven't played it, it's actually really good. The fact that it came out so close to a bunch of other games that I want to play and updates to games I'm already playing is very unfortunate, because I don't know when I'll get to finish it, and it's a ton of fun. But there was a bunch of people there playing Chocobo Mystery Dungeon, doing one of the early game dungeons. I think the City NT was on the other side of that as well. On top of that, they had PvP exhibition station. They had Takai's challenge. He always does these during the 14-hour broadcast. He's doing one here too. It's only for day 1. He's not doing it for day 2, but he was to collect as much blue magic as possible. I don't know if he got any primal spells. When I was watching it, I saw him try Feather Rain, the ice bow thing from Shiva, and Glass Dance. And I think he tried to get Mountain Buster also. And I don't think he got any of the primal spells, but he got most every other spell during I think he had like 8-9 hours or something to run through stuff. So he did pretty good. The guy did pretty good. I think he was just missing a few other spells on top of the primal spells. What else? I mean, there's the Yojimbo Battle Challenge, which I already did in North America, so I just took a picture with the We Beat Yojimbo sign that they had for people to take pictures if they beat him. That was also handled. There's so many stations for that. There was the Four Lords Roulette, where it would be one of the 3 Four Lords, ironically, randomly, that players would have to challenge. There was a dungeon speedrun, which I did at the first North American Fan Festival. And then other than that, I mean, they had a few like basic games, like they had crane games, and I don't know what it's called. Like it's like a fishing game almost, where you actually like take a bowl and try to get like, I think they're like big marbles or something. And there were a few other things that I couldn't see. They were in the distance. I think they were other other types of crane games that were available there. It was very busy. Everything was packed. And then on top of that, I got to take some pictures, take some video. Those have been playing, hopefully, throughout as I've talked about the event. And I'm really looking forward to day 2. Or day 2 of FanFest, day 3 of me being in Japan. Producer live letter. It's going to be today. Dev panel is going to be today. And there's going to be the Primals concert today. So on top of Naoki's Room 2 and 3, but I can't translate and worry about all that the whole time, because those are just very casual talking opportunities for Yoshida. So hope he enjoys them. But I'm probably just gonna have to try to find a loose translation of what happened, if anyone even did translate it, when I get back. In the evening after that was done, I recorded the video for the opening keynote, my thoughts on that. And then I went out to dinner. I found a tiny restaurant that was sit down. It was fairly expensive price-wise. I was trying to see if I figure while I'm here, I should probably try to eat at places that have not higher repute, I guess is not the right word, but if I'm looking for a specific type of cuisine, I'm going to look for what is higher on the price range while I'm here, because I won't be here very long. So if something's more expensive and it's rated highly, I probably want to give that a shot, because I just want to get a whole unique experience. I also want to try some things today. I'm probably going to have to eat at Lawson's or something, because I'm going to have to carry my luggage around with it. I actually have to check out after I'm done recording this, because I'm moving to Shinjuku for a different hotel tonight. So there's actually a bunch of things. There's a steak place I want to try. I actually kind of want to try a fast food place, like an American fast food place here, just to get an idea of the difference. And that's kind of what I did last night with my meal. It was, I think, 6 or 7 courses, but the courses are very small, so it feels very much in terms of total quantity around the same as a traditional meal, plus probably a little bit extra. There's a salad with 2 choices of in-house made dressings. One of them was a miso dressing. I went with that. There was, of course, a house-made miso soup, pickled vegetables. They, instead of giving me white rice, they actually gave me garlic rice. There was 2 different meal options. One was just plain white rice. One was the garlic rice. One of the meals came with less meat, and the other one came with the white rice. So basically, the one that I got was a higher grade of meat. I don't remember the exact cut, but it was a prime cut of meat. Very, very fat. And in a good way. It's just melted like butter. Like the meat that they serve me, just I can still it's fresh in my mind. It's just you didn't need a fork, you didn't need a knife, you didn't need anything. You put just one bite in your mouth and just let it just disintegrate in like joy. It was oh my god, it was so good. And then some more vegetables with that. I had a santari. I had a beer. Just a small bottle, nothing major. And they gave me some after meal coffee, a little dessert. And it was all like, I think it was like 13,000 yen, which is like in the range of like $120, $125, which wasn't so bad because it was a great meal, great experience. The staff was very welcoming. They appreciated that I tried to speak a little Japanese, like thanking them in Japanese, and compliments to the chef. I made sure to thank him personally because he was out in the front cooking our meals for us, everyone who was eating at this small little place. And there was one woman who was eating there a few seats over, and when I thanked the chef and I told him that the food was very good, he was very happy. He was smiling, and she said, "That's very brave of you. I appreciate that." In English, obviously, she told me that. And I was like, I'm learning. She's like, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And so with that, I felt good at the end of my night, having somebody tell me that they appreciated me trying at the very least, because I probably didn't say it like properly, was the thing. So, man, I want to stay here longer. I want to come back, and I want to experience more, but I will experience more. So we will probably have another one of these the morning of Monday, because I don't know when I'll get to the hotel Sunday night. It won't be till pretty late. I don't know how much energy I'll have to record by then. But thanks. Just thanks for enjoying this. I don't know if I'll release this in one part, because these recordings are pretty long, or if I'll chop them down or something like that. But uploading them takes a fairly long time, so we probably won't do that, considering I have to get everything off my phone and whatnot. So expect this to be kind of in multiple parts at this point. But anyway, I am going to finish packing, check out, get some breakfast, and then head over to the convention hall. So thanks everyone for watching my day 2 / beginning of day 3 thing. I'll do the magic where it cuts to the next thing of footage, and go. All right, so here is the day 3 section of this vlog, and I am recording it at the end of day 3. I didn't pass out, I didn't do other stuff. I actually, at the end of today, was relocated to another hotel. For those of you who don't know, the Japanese Fan Festival in Tokyo is actually in Chiba, which is it's about an hour away from Tokyo, like the center of Tokyo, depending on traffic. So I'm currently now in Shinjuku, which is, another part of Tokyo, or another district in Tokyo itself. I was relocated here because I'm going to the Square Enix Japan studio tomorrow to interview Yoshida and be toured around the place, as well as a few other things. I'm also visiting Akiba tomorrow for Aorsia Cafe. So they relocated us here so it was easier to get to the Japan studio. And I got room service because I saw that the restaurant on room service was Cube. I'm trying not to tilt this too far, but it's here. Maybe I can do this. There you go. Just a bit of sushi, and I might take a bite of that here and there. I wanted to save it for the video. Cube, I remember I first saw the original. I think it's in Ginza, the original location. Which, if you've seen BuzzFeed's Worth It with Sushi in Japan, I recognized the name immediately when I got here. This is a separate location from that one that is in the Keio Plaza Hotel, and I just wanted to try it. And I haven't had sushi yet while I was here, except at a breakfast buffet, and it was even the breakfast buffet sushi was above what I'm kind of used to from like a standard price sushi place out in California, and it's miles ahead of New Jersey. But anyway, so the second day of FanFest was more exciting for me than the first. Outside of news, which again, I'll have separate videos on that. I'm trying to not really talk about the exact news. I'm trying to speak more on my experience while I was here. And I got to interact with a lot more people on the second day. I ran into a lot more people who spoke fluent English, which is always something that's kind of welcome while I'm here. Because I'm very careful and I'm very anxious when I'm trying to make sure I don't make any mistakes with my Japanese or what very little I know of it. So just being able to freely talk, even moments like this into the camera, are incredibly just relaxing. But the number of people that I got to interact with today, even when there was a language barrier, was very high. There's a lot of people who stopped me. I had a few people tell me they loved me, which... I don't really know how to react to outside of a thank you. Tons of pictures taken, and I mostly just hung around. I reported on some of the stuff on stage, the producer letter number 50, as well as the development panel, plus a thing here or there from some of the other stuff that was happening on stage, like the FRCs for Japan, as well as some of the Naoki's room stuff. I did dip out a little early in order to get to Shinjuku and actually be able to stop and eat dinner. If I hadn't left early, I wouldn't have been able to get the sushi because the place was about to close. And overall, man, like, I want to stay. I want to stay longer. And you got to remember, while I'm someone who, like, I play a lot of, RPGs that come out of Japan, I have a lot of history with, things that came out of this culture. Obviously growing up, I didn't know it was anime at the time, but things like, Dragon Ball Z and Yu Yu Hakusho and, all the traditional things that, I guess some of us 90s kids kind of grew up with before we knew what anime was. I despite all of that and having a lot of it in my upbringing, I don't know a lot. And I feel like I've learned a lot in the 2 or 3 days, or I guess the 2.5 days that I've been here. But I don't feel like I've learned enough. I feel like I'm starting to pick up certain words a little bit more naturally. I was a little nervous even just saying hello, thank you in Japanese to strangers. As much as I wanted to say sorry in Japanese, I found myself just saying sorry in English. Same with pretty much everything else. At the restaurant, that I went to, I had to make sure that I said thank you. It was delicious in Japanese. It's just none of it's second nature. And on the second day, I found that a lot more of it was starting to come more naturally, but it's gonna come just naturally enough for me to leave. So I definitely got to come back. I mean, Mel and I have wanted to vacation here for years, and now I'm looking outside at Shinjuku, the nightlife of Shinjuku, and it's just lights. And it makes me want to go out and explore, but I'm all alone. So I'm probably not going to do that. But man, it's just, I see so much untapped potential for, things I could do on this trip. Not that I'm not grateful for the things that I haven't got to do, but I see so much more that's just out there waiting for me. and yet I'm inside eating sushi in the hotel room so I can record this video and work and relax a little bit. So I guess I'm kind of just the victim of my own insecurity of just leaping outside and into everything else. But man, I'm very emotional from the trip. Just a lot of passion, a lot of being overwhelmed by the number of people in Japan who have told me, we watch your videos, when you release a guide, when we're very early trying to figure things out, it's very helpful. And I'm just not expecting it. 2 days has not changed my expectations of it. But what I do know is I want to do more to connect with the people that enjoy my content in Japan. And I don't know how yet. And I don't know if even if I come up with ideas, if I'll properly follow through with them, because that's a personal problem that I have with following through with ideas when I have them. If I don't have adequate time or I don't feel like I have adequate time to do it. But man, Japan is something else. I feel like I need to travel more. Just even being here, just not even just Japan. I just feel like I need to travel more after coming here, because I feel like I'm missing a lot of the world. Which is weird because, I'm used to sitting behind a TV or a computer screen, 15 hours a day while I chase my cat around as he begs for food. That's my life every day. And this is just such a different experience. So there's been maybe videos, pictures over the screen that I pulled from Twitter or anything throughout this. But thank you again to everyone who's been out here, who's been very, very welcoming to me. And I hope that I can come back out here again under any sort of circumstance and just say hello to people. So that's going to be it for my day 3. I want to eat this sushi, and I'm going to record my live letter thoughts. The next time you see the next section of this video, you'll see, I guess, is me talking about my visit to the Japan studio and Eorzea Cafe. And those ones in particular, I'll probably also produce a separate video altogether about my experiences with those things, but we'll include them in the vlog as well. So thanks for listening to my ramblings, and time to eat some sushi. Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and this is the last day that I am going to be in Japan. I'm actually about to walk out and go grab just a taxi or a bus or something to the airport. I was going to record something again. I said it every time. I was going to record something again when I got back from Akihabara from Eorzea Cafe. But so tired. Food coma. What can I say? I had a lot of sugar crashed, had a lot of food, ready to pass out. And so I haven't been able to get to do everything that I maybe could have completed before I left Japan, but I'm exhausted, man. I haven't tried to sleep an extra few hours before heading to the airport. I only got maybe an extra hour and a half of sleep. But for my final day in Japan, I got to see a little bit around Shinjuku. I actually took the trains for the first time in Japan. It was a little daunting at first. I haven't really taken trains since I lived and worked in New York City, but honestly, it was super easy. It was a little intimidating, and I had somebody else who actually, knew what they were doing get my tickets. Also, Square Enix is covering the trip, so that's included, those train rides, so he had to take care of that. Thank you, Adam. And it was incredible. Like, just going around the city. It was the first time I really got to go around, like, the city in either of the places I've been, whether it's in Chiba for FanFest or Shinjuku here for my visit to the Japan studio. And man, it's just, you take a walk down any block and it's an adventure in Japan, whether it be in Shinjuku or eventually Akihabara, which was a very different experience. So we went over to the Square Enix building, and I got to conduct my interview with Naoki Yoshida. It seems like people have been receiving that fairly well. I'm always nervous about stuff like that. I said it in the earlier days that I'm never confident. I'm just always I just go with the flow, and I hope people like it. And I'm glad to see that people seem to be enjoying it. I didn't really get to see much of the studio. I'm sure people have questions. Did you take pictures? You can't really do that. It is like one of their core development studios, so you can't really just sit there and take pictures of things. I also didn't get to see very much of it because, for obvious reasons, they weren't exactly trying to let us walk around and see things unattended. So I don't really have any pictures of anything to share from the inside, nor did I see anything worth sharing with you all from the inside. Just kept us in one room, and then went to there was a cafeteria, had a coffee, and then we went into a separate room to do the interview with Yoshida. And then I had see, the thing is, I don't want to talk about it much yet because I don't know. So here's the thing: I'm going to talk about something right now, and if it's out by the time I release this video, then I'll leave this in. If it's not, then I'll just cut this part out. So let's see which one it is. You guys will see. So while that took a while, it was totally worth it. And then went back, dropped some stuff off, and then took a train over to Akihabara, which is about, I think, an 18-minute train. We were lucky and the train was already in the station when we pulled up, so we didn't have to wait very long for it. And man, when we stepped out to Akihabara, now, of course, a lot of you are immediately, and I did the same thing, drawing comparisons to like JRPGs like Persona or The World Ends With You, and you think of all these locations. And I'm not going to lie, I did that when I got to Akihabara. I hadn't really done it in Shinjuku much outside of one building, but when I got to Akihabara, it was a very, very, I was immediately like, oh. And people had told me, you know, like what Akihabara was like. Larry, in particular, had a great way of describing it on State of the Realm, and I totally understood what he meant. But at the same time, I'm like, come on, like it's just the way this city is. It's very bright. It's got anime and all sorts of like, you know, there were pachinko places all like everywhere. There were all sorts of cafes, themed cafes, maid cafes, cat cafes, whatever you're looking for. There's a Carl's Jr. That was random, but that was there. And we just took like a walk up the main road and then came back because we had to make sure we actually we got to the cafe in time. And I took a ton of pictures, some videos. Those are going to be playing as I'm talking about it over here. And it was fantastic. It's one of those things that, man, I know I'm not here long enough. It's just another reminder of that. Went to the Eorzea Cafe. It's in a building that's very tiny, I suppose. It's not like it's a whole building. So the buildings are all basically multifunction. You know, you don't just have a building is this. You know, you have a building on the first floor, it's one thing, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, and like it's literally like dozens of businesses crammed into these various floors. Heck, on the floor where Eorzea Cafe was, there were 3 themed cafes all in the like same small area. But they gave us a tablet. They let us pick a coaster, and I am going to be doing, I guess, a separate video just about Eorzea Cafe to talk about it, but I'll include some pictures for this. I got all the rest of my coasters in these, like, they're basically like trading cards. Every time you buy something at the cafe, they give you a coaster. They ask you if you want an old one or a new one, and then they give you a case, and then you have to open the case to see what you got. They let me pick one before I went in, and I figured not many people would have the Blue Mage one because it's fairly recent, so I decided to grab that one instead of like Monk or Dragoon. I was hedging my bets that I'd get it in the packs, but I didn't, so we'll get it next time, I guess. And then we ordered a few drinks before we went in. They explained how everything works. They pull a number for a cact pot. They give everyone like a ticket with 3 numbers and they call a number. And there's not very many people in, so your odds of winning the cact pot are pretty high. One of us won 3rd place, which is what am I thinking here? It was like a little pin. Wasn't me who won it, but won a little pin for 3rd place. And then for 1st place, they bring you a giant honey toast dessert. That's a giant cactar. I didn't get a picture of it. I didn't see the person who actually won it, but wasn't us, so we just had to order everything off the menu. Oh, God, I don't even remember everything I ordered. I put pictures on Twitter, and I'll throw pictures over here. But like I said, I'll make a separate video for that since these vlogs have been going on pretty long, and I have to head to the airport soon. So, like, I don't know, I ordered the Ravana, the Monk, the Samurai. I have the Samurai sword that was in the thing right here. It's not a straw. I was really surprised the Samurai sword wasn't a straw, so I guess just like Samurai, it's got no utility. I saw that joke on Twitter, Fusion. That's not one's credited to you. And it was a great experience. I ate myself into a food coma, though. I had so many sugary drinks, alcoholic drinks. I ordered a Hoche Font, what I thought was a coffee, but it was a honey tea, which was still really good. And it's still definitely worth the order. But man, I'll talk about it in more detail in another video. But it was a good visit, and if I come back, I'd definitely like to go again, collect more coasters. There was somebody there who clearly goes there a lot, like sitting at another table. He had so I have, I think, like 9 or 10 coasters. You get one, basically per item you order, they ask you, do you want an old one or a new one? And I've got like 9 or 10 right here, and plus this one. And there was one I don't know if he was a kid. I couldn't actually see him too well. He must have had like this many. So he clearly goes. He was like trying to trade with people and stuff. So I would be that guy. To be fair, I would be that guy if I lived in the area and I was trying to collect all the coasters, considering what I do for a living. But man, after that, it was a hard ride home. I almost took a taxi, which is not very common in Japan. It's considered a luxury. But I was like, you know what, I'll take the train with my friends here and just suck it up that it'll be another like 25-30 minutes before I actually get back. We got back to Shinjuku, got to see a little bit more of the nightlife. I only took maybe a couple of pictures of a few streets in Shinjuku, mostly because the first time I was too hungry and I only took a couple of pictures, and the second time I was too tired. Like, there is a Wendy's we went by and it says Wendy's First Kitchen. So I'm like, whoa, the first ever Wendy's, making that joke. And there's all sorts of like American fast food chains. I saw Sizzler. That surprised me. And oh man, I could say so much about my time there, and I probably want to, but it's getting close to the point where I really should leave to get to the airport. I think I board in like 2 hours-ish. It'll probably be like 45 minutes to get there, and I'd like to eat before I get on the plane. So I'll stop it there. Went back, passed the hell out, woke up, recorded a video, ate breakfast. Nothing too crazy, just like a buffet that had a lot of American food too. I was depressed. The Japanese buffet I went to at the beginning of the Monday I was there was amazing. It wasn't even really a buffet. They basically hand you a preset breakfast that has like all the essentials. It's got rice, it's got miso soup, it's got salmon, it's got a bunch of various condiments or hors d'oeuvres on the plate. It's got a small like flan textured dessert. As much coffee, orange juice, whatever kind of fruit juice that you want, water. And it was amazing. And then I went to the American one, which had a huge line because all the American ones, there's a bunch of tourists here like me, and they wanted to go to the American one. And I'm like, come on, like you're here in Japan, and that's even in the American one. There's still Japanese foods, and I went for those for the most part, except for the scrambled eggs, because scrambled eggs were. I need a picture of that on the screen right now. They were incredible. I love scrambled eggs everywhere that isn't America. America just a lot of places don't do them very well. So it was exciting. And then I came back up here, slept for a couple hours, and here I am recording before I leave. So with that, that kind of wraps up my trip. I have a 9-hour flight home, and when I get home, I'm leaving. It's gonna be 4 p.m. approximately when I board the plane. I land at 9 a.m. the same day. If I don't sleep on this plane, my Tuesday is so screwed. Because I want to play patch 4.56 also. Oh, man. I gotta make guides on it. And I still gotta make videos about FanFest itself. That's whatever. Being busy is better than not being busy. So, at the end of it all, 3 days isn't enough. I knew that coming in. But that being said, it's 3 days that I would definitely never trade for much of anything else. It was so worth every minute, every second that I was here. And I hope I get to come back. I could just come back. Mel and I could take a vacation here. Maybe I come out here for something else, like another event of some kind. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds, but I really want to come back to Japan. It makes me want to travel more in general. So that's how I feel, and I'm really grateful to Square Enix for making this happen, to Square Enix Japan, Square Enix America for organizing everything. Yoshida had some very kind words as well, praising my work ethic. So it just lets me know that what I've been doing and what I'm going to continue to do is very much working, and that I need to make sure that I don't let up, because clearly it's meaning a lot for a lot of people, not just in one country or two, but all over the world. And honestly, in life, you don't get to have that opportunity very often. So I have a better scope of kind of what it means now. I always knew a lot of people enjoyed it, but it's different now. There's more on the line, I feel, for my performance. So looking forward, that's going to be on my shoulders, but in a good way. It's not going to like add any pressure or anything. It's, if anything, it's gonna be under my shoulders and be picking me up like this, like when I'm beat up, just somebody's carrying me over their shoulder. Think of it more like that, I guess. So thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Square Enix. I'm gonna get going to the airport. Maybe I'll record like a tiny follow-up from there. Doubt it. I'm really nervous about recording in the airports. And thanks. Thank you again. I will be seeing you all soon for more content. In fact, you'll see the other content probably before this. Knowing me, I got the Yojimbo trial guide to get out. I got my thoughts on the Beast job. I got my thoughts on all the stuff that we talked about this weekend outside of just the interview and covering the other interviews. And okay, it's gonna be busy. Anyway, I'm gonna end the video. So if this is the last part I end up recording, any videos I haven't put or any images, I'll throw those at the end with some nice music. But thank you for enjoying my trip, watching it back, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care.